Big Zeus. Pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power to the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game strong. Freedom is the banner and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hands, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK. Now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Big Zeus, powers in the air. Big Zeus, we knocking on the door. Big Zeus, we wanna hear your soul. Yeah, yeah. Who you think they asking for? They asking for that smoke. People, them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall. They staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told. I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the west wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true. All I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got the Constitution jumping, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kicks and the rally outside, and the gates is locked. This power never divides. Sitting for the block, head buses make them wanna fight. 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap, I'ma bring it back. In the people's house, powers in the air. It's the people's house, we knocking on your door. It's the people's house, we wanna hear your soul.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. All right, let's get this show started. We don't got much time to do the Lord's work, but it must get done. All righty, then let's go.
Wow. And I can't escape it. It's like deja vu. It's me, Zeus. Deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming, I'll be back. Deja vu when I first class.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. Good morning, Zena.
Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen when you rich and famous. The algorithm turned into a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac.
Let's go.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet.
Benjamin Franklin is my bestie.
And if they is my ex, that mean they like me. They don't give me plots.
Let's go.
I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited.
Hopefully
call me the master with a new whip. I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Yes.
That shit was radical.
Oh, it was.
It was horrible. I'm like, you've gone.
Here goes.
Zeus has gone way off the road.
Oh.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Oh my goodness. It is.
It's like
Take out the trash, right? You gotta do it.
It's like deja vu.
All right. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host. I'm your pilot, and you know exactly why we are once again gathered here to do the real work that it takes to save this great country of ours from the evil clutches of guess who? You know who? Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons. Now, Before we get started doing that, let's take care of some very, very important housekeeping items. For those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, hands down. The second H is it's because I'm humble. Listen, if I get it wrong, I'll be the first to apologize. But here's the thing: just because your feelings are hurt, it does not mean that we owe you an apology. Most likely, it means you honestly need to sit your special behind down and actually listen to this special broadcast, because it's very important what we talk about over here. All right. And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, it's because I am and will remain, what? You've guessed it, the most handsome. Thank you. Now, you all know why we are once again gathered here, because we have to continue to battle what it takes to save our democracy, all right? And this means we have to confront harsh realities in real time and just deal with it so that it's dealt with and it's never have to be dealt with again. Because if you don't deal with it like that, ladies and gentlemen, what ends up happening is you have a society, a country like the country right now. It's sick. Why is this country sick? Because we got a bunch of sick people out here who say one thing and then they do another thing. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But before I go any further, I got to say this. If there are any Trump supporters out there, are there any Trump supporters out there? Cali Love, nice to see you. Are there any Trump supporters out there still? Because I've been doing an amazing job cooking and booking and just steamrolling the heck out of MAGA. These folks are done. They're done. They can't take it anymore, right? But I'll say this: if there are any Trump supporters out there, do me a huge favor. All right, leave this live. All right, and go hang out with these fake TikTokers. Or now, you know what I'm going to start calling them? Two-Face, because we had Two-Face in here yesterday, and I'm not going to say their name because, but I'll address it. Two-Face, you got to leave this live right now, because I promise you, I really will promise you, you're not going to like the things that we say over here, because we tell the truth over here, all right? And so if you don't want me to ruin your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and everything in between, do me a huge favor, all right? Leave this live, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable. All right. And it's going to make your head spin. It's going to make your head spin and then pop off. Boop. And if you don't want to see that happen or feel that, just leave right now. Because like I said, it's going to get very, very uncomfortable. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too.
Yeah.
But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. And I take honestly no responsibility for what happens. We're at a critical juncture right now, ladies and gentlemen, where as a result of some major disturbances within the kingdom. Now, I realized yesterday was a very, very difficult conversation. Just because you say that you're a Democrat, it does not mean all is good in the hood, all right? Because, you got a lot of people out here pretending to be Democrats just so that they can get close to Big Zeus and then try to kid him in some sort of gotcha moment, because I'm a little too nice at times, and I get it. And I do that because I genuinely want to create a platform that is open for all people, all walks of life, because prior to talking politics, that's how I am. That's how I talk to a lot of people, offline, online. So I've always tried to maintain a certain amount of space so that even if you are a Trump supporter, I can still try to have a productive and constructive conversation, and we could at least try to find what you all like to call common ground. But after yesterday's discussion with an individual who I'm just going to call him Two-Face, I said, so we vote for Kamala Harris, but we promote MAGA. We got folks that come to my live and they name themselves conservative Democrat. This is why not just wear your badges with honor? How did we get here? I know this other knucklehead alter ego. I voted for Kamala, but I'm going to spend all day in the comments section bashing the Democrats. This is a sickness. This is why I say it's a sickness in this country, because on one side, I get it. You want to be cool with everybody. You want to show everybody that you're not like us. Not the song, but that's what they do. I'm not like Zeus. I'm not like so and so. I'm different. And I said, and it reminded me something. You know how all of us, we probably have dated people like that. It's always interesting when you date somebody. It says, oh, no, I'm not like them. I'm different. I'm special. And how does it end? W. Zeus. How does it end? It's all the same. It's not me, it's you. That's how it always ends. And so, to the people on the internet, I have a lot more respect for you when you just flat out say, I love Donald Trump, and that one tooth in your mouth hangs out, right? I have a lot more respect for you when you say, yeah, I smell that dirty diaper. I was there on January 6th. I love the felt, I have a lot more respect for those. But if you're sitting around here, okay, and again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, MAGA, but I'll say this. I know enough to get through and make it to the point where I'm at in life now where I could put two and two together. If you are afraid or just flat out lying to yourself about who you support, I want you to understand this. And this is why I'm going to do the first round of the Lake of Fire. You're not fooling me. I don't know. Okay, and I get this. Perhaps I've made myself seem so nice and so kind that you've perceived my niceness as weakness or ignorance. But I'm on these TikTok streets just like you. Did you know that? I see what you do, even though you don't think I see what you do. And whether people send it to me or not, I do my research, all right? You don't get to be Big Zeus just playing games on TikTok. And so what I'll say is this. All of you who think I don't understand who you are and where you stand, if you don't think I know who's racist and who's not racist on TikTok, you got another thing coming. It's just sometimes I honestly don't got time to dive deep into that because I got to cook and book and do what I do. But I'll say this. Let me ask the audience. For all the characters we've dealt with, ladies and gentlemen, and I asked my good friend Nutty and Swervin this yesterday, has anyone out here ever heard Big Zeus say so-and-so is a racist? Don't hang out with them. So-and-so is corrupt. Don't hang out with them. Or were you able to figure that out on your own? Let me just see. How many of you out there have been able to independently figure it out on your own based on the characters you've ran into on the app? Who's who? Let me just see. How many of you have been able to figure it out? You figure this out. There you go. So to all the people that continue to try to say Big Zeus, you run a platform. And your platform, you put targets on our back. No. The truth is you put a target on your own backs because a lot of people know how this app works. They got multiple accounts. You got a backup and they got a backup to the backup. And they go and watch you. They listen to what you're saying. They're screen recording you. And they've came to their own conclusion that you are indeed not a good person. You're a terrible person. So please, take accountability for your own behavior. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't have time to tell people you're a bad person. 9 times out of 10, you're the one doing it. Just like you accidentally admitted your name on TikTok and then you get mad if somebody says it. It's a public platform. Be more careful and don't, they say, don't do the DUI, drink and drive. Don't get on TikTok while you're loaded on whatever stuff you're on because you get loose lips. And so what I'm going to do is this, ladies and gentlemen, because I lost a follower yesterday, believe it. It's so sad. I lost a follower, Zeus. I'm not coming back. I could care less. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor. You already know what I do on my platform. I don't allow people who are Trump supporters to be victims around me. Because after January 6th, one thing is true. You will always do things, commit crime, and then try to sit up in the courtroom and say, it wasn't me, Your Honor. It was them. It was the Democrats. And I don't buy it. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge favor. And let's send every single hypocrite straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
W. Zeus. I'm going to, and one last thing. There's just certain things that I just can't get jiggy with. And again, I'm honestly too nice to a fault. But if somebody gets into my box, all right, and you all know me, you did what? You said this and that. I mean, I'm like, okay, but as long as you're being respectful, I'll entertain it. But once you say something crazy like, yeah, I'm okay with people being racist, as long as they're not being racist to me. Once you start talking like that, I go, oh, okay. There's something going on up here. This is somebody that really genuinely needs help, professional help. And I don't believe my platform is for you. I think you're desperate. I think you need friends, and you'll do anything. You'll do anything. And that's probably why I say the most dangerous thing in this country is an uninformed Trump voter. You don't need friends that bad where you're willing to just make yourself into the worst human being possible. You know, I grew up, you know what my mom always said? She said, Zeus. Well, she didn't say it like that. She said, son, you don't have friends. You have associates. You know who was your friend? Somebody that would put themselves on a cross and, you know, give up their life for you. And she said, there's only one person that would do that. And who was that? Jesus Christ. So everybody is just an associate at best. Everybody is just an associate at best. We're mutuals on the app, but when you start compromising, and see, I know I'm getting off of my politics stuff because sometimes this is necessary. When you start sacrificing who you are as a person to fit in, and you are an adult, a grown individual, I have to say to myself, what happened to you? You should have gotten that out of your system in grade school, maybe even high school, but to be a grown individual, okay, you put a target on my back, but you go in there and you hate. I don't like platforms this is what they said. I don't like platforms that promote harm to people. But again, they go in there and then they post up with people who promote discrimination and abusive behavior. Do you think I'm like you? Well, you say, what do you mean? Well, I already told you what Donald Trump says about all of you supporters.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
Okay. So listen, we're going to move things along, but I had to address the elephant in the room. And again, I don't think I need to drive into that and park and talk about these things anymore, but I want to make sure every single person out there understands that I'm on TikTok. I'm running a show. I'm not here to babysit adults. And if you need help regulating someone, if you want to try to regulate someone, start with the man or woman in the mirror, W. Zeus. Because we've played man in the mirror on this show several times to help people remind themselves. Like, listen, you don't think, oh, I know, this just popped into my head. It just popped into my head. Oh, okay, I get it. This just popped into my head. This is how MAGA operates. You think you're the only one screen recording. You think you're the only one that has intel, huh? And so what you've been doing is you let people send screen recordings of people on the app to you, and then you get gaslit, and you think you got a gotcha moment. But I want you to understand this, MAGA. Everybody on TikTok has screen recordings. Yeah, when you're up, and I'd hate to do it because I got to lean into the mic like Joe Biden. When you're up late at night at 2 a.m., telling us all you're happily married, but then we hear you saying nasty, disgusting things. Oh yeah, we got those. Oh, you think you think you're the only one that knows 911? There's something wrong with MAGA. It's really something. And so I'm going to continue to expose the hypocrisy of these folks. And again, they can block me all they want to, but one thing is clear: everybody that has said that I'm going to block you, Zeus, you know what they do, ladies and gentlemen? They come right on back with a different account. They come right back to me, and they say, I heard you, and how'd you hear me? Oh, somebody sent me the link. No one cares about you that much where they're sending you links. You brought your special behind in here because you knew that what we're talking about is a message you truly, truly need because your life is in shambles. W. Zeus. These are some of the most miserable people that I have ever dealt with. So all I'm going to say is this. Again, when I play this,
if you're not happy here,
when I play this,
then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Now, let me ask this question. How many people out there think MAGA is happy? How many people out there think MAGA is happy right now? Let's put, anyone out there thinks MAGA is happy? Because this is what I'm trying to help MAGA understand. Look at this. Look at this. Miserable. That's a big word for MAGA. Look at all these people out there. They too much hate to be happy. Yeah. Now, this is the biggest question, and this is why this show and shows like this, lives like this, it's so easy. MAGA, we know you're not happy. Because, and it's kind of fascinating when I think about it, because guess what? We know why. It's like your dear leader is in the White House, right? Your dear leader is in the White House. You got control of both the House and the Senate. Why aren't you happy? And they continue to tell you you're not happy because of us, Democrats, independents, the socialists. You're not happy because Iran. You're not happy because Ukraine. You're not happy because Obama. You're not happy because Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. You're not happy because what? I mean, how many things do they got to point at before you wake up and realize, MAGA, you're not happy because you're being manipulated by your dear leader, the one that's over there on his social media platform spewing these lies, right? Again, and I'm going to repeat them. What are the lies? And I'm going to still say the 32-hour work week, because I've heard so many of you say he's going to give you the 32-hour work week. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, capping credit card interest at 10%, cutting your utility bills in half, Liberation Day, the golden age, $5,000 Doge checks. We're going to deport 20 million immigrants out of the country, and some of them, he said, were illegal. And none of this has materialized, MAGA. None of it. And instead of you going, maybe this guy's lying to us, what you do, you turn around and get on TikTok late at night and go hang out with a bunch of J6ers and racist people who promote evil and hatred and stuff like that. And then you go, well, why is my life in shambles? Your life is in shambles because you sold your soul to the devil. W. Zeus. Yeah. Now, before we go any further, I wanted to make sure everyone knows where I stood on those very important matters, because we take care of business like that in the kingdom. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is we're dealing with a situation right now. MAGA, you might want to listen up. And this is why the anger is here and the frustration is here. Your dear leader is still trying to convince all of us that this strike, or the 12-day war that he started, is a success. And you have to ask yourself, MAGA, and this is why I need you to really use whatever is left in terms of your brain power. If it's really a success, why do you have to spend so much time trying to convince people that it's a success? And the only reason you're doing that, MAGA, is because guess what? It wasn't a success. It's crystal clear to everybody that can think freely. Yeah. Anybody that can think freely, they're going, this is way too much effort. So I'll give you a good example. Let's talk about what happened at the NATO press conference yesterday with your dear leader. All right.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much.
We got them all today.
Okay. So, Mr. President, you talked about expecting some on-the-ground assessments at Fordo and other sites.
Now
is that
here again.
Israeli and U.S.?
It's been obliterated, Kelly. It's been
What is your message then, sir, to the intelligence community when they present reports? You're not disputing the DIA report. You're just...
They presented a report that wasn't finished. We're talking about something that took place 3 days ago.
I understand that.
The report was done 2 days ago. Wait a minute.
Yes.
They didn't see it. All they can do is take a guess. Now, if you take a look at the pictures, if you take a look how it's all blackened, you know the fire and brimstone is all underground because it's granite and it's all underground. You don't show it. But even there, with all of that being said, the whole area for 75 yards around the hole where it hit is black with fire. The group that's run by this gentleman, in fact, you may want to talk about it for a second because we're going to issue a report. And I think it's not even a very exciting.
So all I got to do, MAGA, is you can already tell he has no clue what he's talking about. He's just saying a bunch of words. That's all this is. All right. It's just a bunch of words that you have to come out here on the internet and try to repeat to us and sell that it actually makes sense. Again, anyone that believes him, then something's wrong with you. And it gets a little worse because it gets to a point where he can't even handle this himself. So he tags his Secretary of War. He calls him a Secretary of War, not a Secretary of Defense. So it's obviously Pete Kegsbreth got a demotion. He tags him in to help him try to explain this lie to the American people.
The report was not a complete report. Yeah, the message was probably wait till you know the answer before you...
And sir, did you not have a public component to your Zelensky meeting for a tactical reason with President Putin?
Let him answer this.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders.
Why can't he just say airmen and air crew? Pete Kegsbreth. So this once again just shows me that Pete Kegsbreth is clearly incompetent. And this is who Donald Trump is deferring to try to prove that it was a success. MAGA, open up your eyes, all right? Because what I'm telling you is the truth, all right? If you're upset, get upset with the people that I'm playing.
Skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it.
You see how he all of a sudden tries to spin this narrative that we don't care about the troops? And again, I got to dispel that. All of us care about the troops. For the sake of the mission, I'll say yes. Yeah, those troops did an outstanding job obeying Donald Trump. Our issue isn't with the troops. Our issue is with you and your dear leader trying to gaslight us into believing something is true that we all know is not. All you did was blow some vents up. You didn't stop anything, and you know this, Pete.
Try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary report that's deemed to be a low assessment. You know what a low assessment means?
Do you know what a low assessment means? I've never been so embarrassed. And actually, I don't feel safe with this kind of incompetence at all. Just rambling stuff. I mean, he's trying to make it simple for Trump to understand, I guess.
Confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence? Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000 pound bombs is buried under a mountain, devastated and obliterated. So if you want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that dropped the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded. And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
How many people believe Pete Kegsbreth? Anyone out there believe Pete? Anyone that believes Pete, please come on up here. I want to see, because I got to check the temperature and see where people are at. If there's anyone out there that believes Pete Kegsbreth, identify yourself, please. Place a 1 in the chat. I even understand now that deep down inside, MAGA knows this is nothing. This is not something good. So what I'm going to do is this, MAGA. Once again, I've caught you all being a bunch of liars, a bunch of hypocrites, because I know you're in the chat listening to what I'm talking about, but you're too afraid, too scared to get up here and actually defend it, which to me shows what's really happening right now. You're totally conflicted right now. The truth is doing a number on you, but at the same time, you sniffed that dirty, disgusting diaper, right? And you know what they say? You make your bed, you got to sleep in it. So do me a huge favor and go straight to hell. Nobody believes me. So I'm just going to go ahead and say you can go watch that if you want to, but I think the case, this is settled. The matter is settled. So in order to kind of get some reprieve and, get a little bit of relief, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's very, very important we hear someone that has a little bit more of a soothing, calming effect that can actually explain what's currently happening right now in terms of this 12-day war with Iran. And you all know who he is. Let's go ahead and give our good friend Lawrence O'Donnell a huge, huge round of applause.
Summit today in the Netherlands. Donald Trump completely reversed himself on the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. A complete Trump reversal. And Donald Trump finally agrees with every president since World War II that NATO is a good thing and a good deal for the United States. Every other president has known that every day of their lives before they became president and every day that they served as president. And every president not named Trump acted accordingly with NATO. Donald Trump spent 4 years as president of the United States being completely wrong about NATO, saying repeatedly that it was what he called a ripoff. That was his term.
Our allies, wow.
Donald Trump threatened repeatedly not to even consider defending other NATO countries if they are attacked. That is the central principle of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, as expressed in Article 5. That is Article 5 of the NATO agreement that every NATO nation supports. Today, Donald Trump, the slowest student in the history of the presidency, said this. The number one food for regular BMs, huh? Okay, let's see.
That's a
fastest way to clear out stuck poop is by...
As far as Article 5, look, when I came here, I came here because it was something I'm supposed to be doing, but I left here a little bit differently. I said, I watched the heads of these countries get up, and the love and the passion that they showed for their country was unbelievable. I've never seen quite anything like it. They want to protect their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. Without the United States, they couldn't really have NATO. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It will in the future because now they're paying much more money, but it wouldn't work. It was great. And I left here differently. I left here saying that these people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff, and we're here to help them protect their country.
So that is a complete reversal by Donald Trump. And saying that NATO countries are paying more money, of course, is a misstatement of the situation. NATO countries are spending more on national defense so that they can use that additional spending to help Ukraine defend against Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine.
Wow.
That is why NATO allies are spending more money on defense. Donald Trump's complete reversal on NATO will not likely be one of the headlines of the Trump participation in the NATO summit because Donald Trump speaks in such hard-to-follow gibberish and because Donald Trump tried to turn his public speaking at the NATO summit into a triumph for a war president that he is now pretending to be. As we reported last night, the United States assessment of the bomb damage that Donald Trump's bombing of Iran delivered is inconclusive, which makes sense when you're trying to bomb things that are underground and hard to tell how much damage has been done. The Trump administration assessment of the bombing obtained by NBC News, quote, concludes that the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear enrichment sites were not as effective as Trump claimed, and that they set the Iran nuclear program back by only 3 to 6 months, which completely contradicts Donald Trump's claim that Iran's facilities were obliterated by the American bombing. Obliterated is Donald Trump's term, and only Donald Trump's term. No one else is saying that about the bombing. Donald Trump believes that the use of the word obliterated means that he personally did not just end the war between Israel and Iran, but that he personally won that war.
Wow.
So I have, as you know, Marco, Rubio with me and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State and Secretary of War. Should we say Secretary? You know, it used to be called Secretary of War. Maybe for a couple of weeks we'll call it that because we feel like warriors.
Wow.
We feel like warriors. Of course, Donald Trump feels like a warrior. Donald Trump, who evaded military service during the Vietnam War because he claimed his foot hurt, the same foot on which he spent the rest of his life playing endless miles of golf and never limping. There is no reason to believe that Donald Trump wasn't perfectly healthy enough to serve in the military during the war of his youth. But like most men who were eligible to serve in the Vietnam War at that time, Donald Trump was terrified of being sent to the jungles of Vietnam and becoming another statistic in the American military body count that was far greater than all of the wars, the American wars of the 21st century combined. And so Donald Trump, who only had to choose which ridiculous hat to wear when he went to the Situation Room to be a spectator during his war in Iran, now feels like a warrior. The war that Donald Trump experienced in that air-conditioned room where he didn't even have to loosen his necktie makes Donald Trump feel like a warrior. The biggest crybaby in the history of American politics now feels like a warrior. The man who spent every single day of his political and presidential life complaining that he is being treated unfairly now feels like a warrior. The man who told his insurrectionist mob that he would go to the Capitol with them on January 6th now feels like a warrior. We all know that Donald Trump's gibberish in public speaking is very hard to follow. It is also very hard for 79-year-old Donald Trump to follow his own gibberish while he's saying it.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump proved that again today when he contradicted himself in the middle of his public comments. Donald Trump was unable to adhere to his own line of argument, his own talking points, that his bombing of Iran has completely solved the problem there, ended Iran's war with Israel, and eliminated any possibility of Iran developing.
Let's be honest. Most pants.
Hold on, we're almost done. Bear with me. We're almost done. But Lawrence has to get this out because we're going to get straight to judgment.
Nuclear weapons. That was the line of argument Donald Trump tried to present and did present. And then Donald Trump stumbled into saying this.
You just said you believe the conflict between Israel and Iran is over. What makes you so confident it is? And what do you do if it isn't?
Because I dealt with both, and they're both tired, exhausted. They fought very, very hard and very viciously, very violently, and they were both satisfied to go home and get out. And can it start again? I guess someday it can. It could maybe start soon.
It could maybe start soon. Remember after Hitler killed himself in the bunker and World War II and Europe ended? Remember when President Harry Truman said, can it start again? I guess someday it can. It could maybe start soon. No, Harry Truman didn't say that.
No.
And remember when World War II ended with Japan's surrender?
Right.
And Harry Truman said, can it start again? I guess someday it can. It could maybe start soon. No, President Harry Truman didn't say that. Because every president other than Donald Trump has known when a war has ended and when a war has just taken a pause.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's safe to say Lawrence O'Donnell deserves a huge, huge round of applause because he's exposed all the lies once again. And so now we got to do another round of the Lake of Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and warm up the Lake of Fire because we know that there is no ceasefire. If anything, it's just a pause. And we know that Donald Trump and his supporters are going to still run around and try to act like this is a huge, huge victory, despite the obvious. All you did was blow the vent shafts off. You only set them back 3 to 6 months max. And you're going to try to pretend like you obliterated it? We don't buy it. Let's send them straight to hell. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go to the audience. Let's start off with some. Do we have any Trump supporters out there that are brave enough to come up here? Put a one in the chat if you are. If not, you might just want to keep listening to this broadcast because what we're trying to do, honestly, this is the real work. What we're really here to do is to stop you all from destroying yourselves in this country, and that starts with you understanding that you're not that intelligent, and it's not an insult, but it's the truth. W. Zeus. Yeah, I'm surprised you're still here, Tiny Tank Top Tim. Tom, you haven't even passed the first test, Tiny Tank Top Tim. All right, and the big thing is we know you have a crush on Takesha, and I got to do my thing as kind of like the bigger brother and not let you get next to my sister W. Zeus. All right, but you better ask about me. All right, let me bring up my first panelist. Good morning, Nutty. How are you doing?
Good. How are you this morning?
I'm all right.
So, well, first of all, y'all, please continue to tap that screen. This is the backup. So let's boost this back up. While we are on the main, let's boost this back up. So
well,
anyway,
I actually don't mind. I don't mind it.
well,
You know that, right? We're having more intimate conversations. You don't like, cramming in a small room together with us, Nutty?
not everybody likes
I'm kidding. But thank you all. Please listen to Nutty.
Yeah, anyway, the Supreme Court, either today or within the coming days, they will release their opinion on birthright citizenship. So we can look out for that. Also, this administration is now trying to limit how much information they provide to classified information they provide to Congress.
I heard about that.
I'm so I'm really just tapping my forehead saying, are we living in the United States or are we living in North Korea?
Right.
I don't get why people continue to want to conflate and they'll support this. Anything that comes out of this administration, they just grab hold to it like a leech, like the ticks that they are. They are blood-sucking ticks and leeches. And we have to get rid of them. So with that being said, I need everyone to start now. We need to talk about, we need to promote, we need to boost the midterm elections. Because if we don't make a substantial difference in getting the opposite party in power come next year, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
I truly do agree. And I'm going to also say this. Just because they say they're a Democrat, I wouldn't buy that, ladies and gentlemen. This is serious business. You got to look at the values these people uphold now. It's time.
For sure.
All right. Look at the candidates, especially because there's a lot of pretenders out there, right? There's a lot of pretenders.
Oh, for sure. Listen, look what just happened in the Democratic primary for the mayor of New York.
Uh-oh. You going to speak on that?
A true progressive, Mondami, came out of nowhere and kicked the establishment butt. Like former governor.
What does that say?
Cuomo,
Speak on that.
Former Governor Cuomo, he raised $39 million. Mondami raised $9 million. He was outspent. And 800,000 of his donations were under $20.
Oh, DJ
listen,
says
y'all.
it will not help us in the midterms, Nutty. What do you say to DJ? Because he's in the chat. He doesn't think this is...
Zeus, thank you for bringing him up. And I just saw him scroll through in the comments.
Yeah, because he comes here to get his kibble. I get it.
But I remember about a month ago now, there was a crash out on your live with DJ. And he was like, wah, you're so mean to me. I'm never coming back here. Why are you here, DJ?
He's honest about it. He needs this kibble, Nutty. You know it.
Well, it's just like Forex.
He needs it.
It's just like Forex. They want to complain. They want to say how bad you are and how much misinformation is thrown around on your platform, but yet they keep coming back for it. So what does that say about you?
I can't answer for him, so
You
he's
miss
gonna
me,
have to
DJ?
answer.
Well, guess what, DJ? I didn't miss you.
Mm.
I didn't miss you because the dangerous part about you, DJ, is that you do display some sort of intellect, and
Yeah,
you are able to have a 5 minute conversation without crashing.
yeah.
I don't go past 5 minutes, but
Well,
you're
that's what
able.
she
You're
said, but we'll
capable.
continue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He said that. I didn't say that, ladies and gentlemen. W Zeus
You
again.
know,
And you just gotta let them talk sometimes. They'll tell on themselves. But go ahead, Nutty. You're doing a good job.
Zeus, I'm gonna use your famous words here. I'm gonna keep it clean. I'm gonna keep it clean. So, but yeah. Anyway,
And
so DJ, just come on, man. Even you have to admit that when this administration is saying that they're gonna limit classified information that they give to Congress,
yeah,
we're talking about Congress, DJ. Like, where is your line? Where is your limit? When are you all going to just step outside of your mortal body and just look at yourself and say, am I really supporting this?
yeah.
They have to really step outside themselves to say, am I supporting this?
And the easiest way, Nutty, is this: they have to at some point come to the realization that the tables could actually turn, and they could be in the situation we're in, right? And then you would ask them, would they really swallow it like they're trying to tell us? And we saw what happened on January 6th.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It was not a peaceful protest. It was an insurrection. So I don't know. I don't know what gives. I don't know what gives. DJ, hello.
What's up? So, Nutty, I mean, I think that you bring up a very good point. I think that it's essential that the president communicates with Congress, but it's also essential that the president knows that he can go to members of Congress, and the information that needs to stay confidential will stay confidential.
So,
But
DJ, can I stop you right there?
sure, go ahead.
Let me stop you right there.
Uh-huh.
You cannot say it is essential because Congress is a separate body. Just because he may not feel as though something is going to stay confidential, he cannot control what they say. He can't control what they do. The only thing, DJ, that he can control is his oath of office. That's it. And he's violating his oath of office on a daily basis, man.
By doing what?
DJ, come on. You're too smart for this, man. Every day.
I'd really like an
The sim-
example of what you're
the
referring
simplest
to.
thing, the simplest thing is the emoluments clause. That's the simplest thing that he's violating. You want to argue about his attacks on Iran? That was a violation of his constitutional amendments. That
Well,
in
Zeus
itself.
and I've had this discussion, and
I was here.
we disagree, and
I
I
was here.
disagree with what you're saying. I don't.
I
You
know
know.
you disagree,
Yeah,
but guess
sure.
what doesn't disagree with me? It's the Constitution.
That
The
matters.
Constitution is on my
has
side.
the right to do what he did, Nutty.
He did not, sir. He
Well,
absolutely
DJ.
did not. Iran did not attack the United States. The only way he was constitutional in what he did is if Iran had attacked the United States of America. Iran did not.
So you're saying that that no president should have any right to attack or any country that didn't attack us first. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is if he wants to attack or feels like he needs to attack, he must get congressional authority to do so. If we were not attacked first, that is 100% the Constitution. Take feeling aside. If you want to change the Constitution, we have a process for that. But until then, we have to stay within the realms of the Constitution, DJ.
Sorry,
Bingo.
Nutty, you're wrong. I'm sorry. You're wrong.
Well, so
Sorry,
bingo.
Nutty, you're wrong. I'm sorry. You're wrong.
Well, so Nutty. Not Nutty, but DJ. Why do you say he's wrong again? Because we've already kind of covered
The
this.
president absolutely has. He's in charge. He's the commander in chief. He's in charge of all U.S. forces.
Okay.
He absolutely has the right to make a strike onto another country if he feels that it's in our best interest.
Okay. So do you
And it's been
believe
done
that
throughout. It's been done throughout history.
Can I ask an honest question, DJ? Why is he if this is all on the up and up? And again, what I like to do is it's like verbal jujitsu in a way. I'm going to use a little bit of what you're saying to try to make the point. Why, if it's all on the up and up, why is he not being real transparent with Congress? Don't you think if you're doing something, by the book, that being very
To
transparent,
reach out to members of Congress prior to it happening.
huh?
Senator
You-
Nadler was
well-
informed. Congressman
Well,
Johnson
well,
was
DJ,
informed.
you
They
know that the
attempted to
Democrats
keep
are.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Did you?
Go ahead.
You know that he did give the Republicans a heads up, but he really didn't give the Democrats, right?
Zeus, if
And
you
so-
research it just a little bit, you'll find out that they absolutely let Senator Nadler know. They had timestamps on the phone calls that they provided to CNN. CNN had to pull back articles saying that they didn't notify him.
So that's enough, in your
According
opinion.
to the War Powers Act, he has to let Congress know within 48 hours afterwards.
DJ, do you know who the Gang of Eight is? Do you know who composed the Gang of Eight?
I don't know exactly. I know what you're referring to, Nutty, but I don't know. I'm Speaker of the House, the head of the Senate. I'm sure that there's a list.
And you said he let CNN know, DJ?
I beg your pardon?
You said they let CNN know?
No.
You just
CNN
said that they let CNN know.
CNN had to retract a story saying that they made no attempt to notify Congress before the attack.
Well, they didn't. But the Gang of Eight, DJ, the Gang of Eight is the majority leaders in both houses.
Was Senator Nadler informed that Trump was going to drop bombs on Iran?
Hold on, attacking.
Oops, sorry. I didn't know I was up.
The Gang of Eight, DJ, is the majority and the minority leaders of both houses of Congress and a few key other people. They absolutely did not let Democrats know because the Gang of Eight, not four, the Gang of Eight did not know, DJ.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that the Trump administration made no attempt to let anyone from the Democratic
Nor
Party
did
know
Nadler,
prior.
because I just
Please
looked it up
let me
and I didn't
finish.
know that I was
Please let
on.
me finish.
No, you've talked enough. Listen,
DJ, yes, I'm telling you 100% to
Okay,
answer your
so
question.
if you're going to bring 5 people
100%
up
they
here to
did not let
scream
them
at
know.
Zeus, I mean, come on.
because they claimed they attempted to talk to Hakeem Jeffries, and he came out and made a statement and said that is false. That they did
Oh,
not.
what a shock that is, Angie. What a shock.
My name's not Angie.
Wait,
But
DJ,
anyway,
time out.
Looks like Ann, sorry.
Do you think Hakeem Jeffries is lying, saying, "Hey," because this is his job, man. He is supposed to know this stuff. He's not just going to sit there and say, "Oh, they didn't. That's not true. They didn't attempt to contact me." Come on, DJ, you got to stop with this man because at every turn,
I'm not
this
stopping
man
with
has
it.
lied
I
to you.
absolutely watched the President of the United States.
Unlike
press
your dear leader, Hakeem Jeffries
stand
doesn't
up and
lie.
say that we attempted to contact them, and CNN had to retract the story saying that they didn't.
Okay.
Why do you
okay,
keep referencing
okay, hold
CNN
on.
when you don't like CNN?
All right, so let's continue because I kind of brought up a little bit more energy, and we're going to try to, really have this discussion because we got a little extra energy in us
I'm
today.
guessing I may as well mute because I'm obviously not going to.
Well, when we're going, you obviously, DJ, you're the one that most people are going to be questioning because you're not just conceding on things that we all understand to be things you probably should concede on. So I want to move it on to Keisha because Keisha, you politely asked, could I ask DJ a question? Could you please move on to Keisha and ask your question to DJ because we're gonna get somewhere. Takesha, are you there?
Thank you, Zeus, for bringing me up.
Yes.
Because DJ has made my Duke thirst for ice water. That means that it's hot. Not for you, Tiny Tim. It's not hot for you. But listen, DJ made a statement that really just confused me so bad. DJ said that the Trump administration wants to limit intel to Congress because they can't trust Congress to not tell stuff. That leak came from the Pentagon. How can Congress leak something that they don't have, DJ.
Okay.
If,
So you
if
understand the
the
question, DJ?
administration has not talked to giving them information on what exactly went on, because that's what they was going to Congress to do, how can they leak something they don't have the information to leak? It came from the Pentagon. People keep saying you're smart, DJ, and you're not. Just because you talk slow and bring up stuff that you read, that does not mean you're intelligent, sir. What you say makes absolutely no sense. They don't want to give Congress the intel because they know what they said happened didn't happen.
DJ, are you going to respond to that?
Sure, I'm happy.
So, are you suggesting that Congress leaked the information, DJ?
No, I didn't say that.
DJ, I sat up here and repeated exactly what you said.
No, ma'am. I did not say that members of Congress let out any information.
You said the
Not
Trump
even-
administration can't trust them. That therefore you were leading and saying that you had to be
But
saying.
did I say it? But did I say
DJ,
it? You're saying
DJ, I'm not
leaning to
playing
something,
these
but
word
did I say
games
it?
with you. I'm not gonna play these word games that you try to play with everybody else. You
No, ma'am,
were
I'm just not going to let you use
suggesting-
words that I didn't
you
say. That's all.
were
Well-
suggesting that Congress leaked that information, and I'm gonna leave it
Never
at
said
that
that.
because
Okay.
that's exactly
Okay.
what you were.
What were
doing.
you saying, DJ? And
He
then-
was saying what I said. He was saying.
I know he was saying, but I want to see if he's going to tell us the truth after
He's
we
finna go all around and marry
Well,
no
we don't got time for that. We don't got time for that. But seriously, DJ,
It's not enough that I want to come up here and say something, but you're going to read what I'm actually saying when I say it? Come on, guys. Come on.
well, can
What
you
I
just
said
clarify
was-
what you said? That's all I'm trying to get because I'm writing it down.
I'm happy to, Zeus, and you can write it down.
Yeah,
record
that's
it,
the
whatever
best
you
way to
wanna
do it.
May I
This,
have a
this,
turn?
this administration.
Hold on a
has
second. I
been-
want to make sure he says what he needs to say. What now? To what Takesha said. You said what about Congress leaking?
I said that this administration has been as transparent as any administration ever. Okay.
What you said. I want you to repeat what you said
Did you-
verbatim.
Okay, Takesha, let me know when it's time for me to talk. Just let me know because I don't want to
Time,
interrupt.
but don't add nothing into what you said.
I absolutely said that this administration was as clear as any administration ever. I said that I agreed with Nutty that I'm pretty sure I used the word essential that the executive branch speaks with Congress about that. And Nutty said they're separate entities. Is this not ringing a bell that any of this was said?
DJ, get to the part where
But
you
DJ,
said
we don't have
The
all
point
morning.
what I
is,
said.
the
You
point
said.
is that we have to be careful what information is
Okay.
given and what
That's not what he
information
said.
can be
Zeus.
leaked.
I'm not finna keep
That's
playing
what I
with
said,
DJ.
Takesha. I didn't
Zeus,
accuse Congress of
I
leaking
wish to
anything.
God you could play back what he said while we on this
Zeus
live.
just said he
Because
records
all that
stuff.
stuff
Did
he
you have it,
just
Zeus?
said, Zeus,
Well,
Did you
listen,
record it?
all
listen,
that
listen.
stuff he just said, Zeus, was not what DJ said. He said never about no transparency or none of that. I'm not finna play with DJ today. I'm going on mute and I'm done.
All right, W Takesha. So DJ, we don't believe that. I think you said. I mean, to me, the real question, DJ, and then I'll move it on to Ange and then attacking and Val. We'll do it in that order, ladies first. Why, if it was done on the up and up, DJ, why would he have any reservations? You might not even remember how you said it, but Takesha has pretty good memory. Why any reservations about disclosing what you did to Congress if it was truly on the up and up? That's how I'm looking at this.
Okay. I'm going to say this again, and I want to make sure that I'm crystal clear that the Trump administration attempted to notify congressional leaders prior to the strikes. It was on the up and up. I'm not sure what it would be. I mean, what you're referring to that it wasn't on.
Okay,
the up.
you made a claim. Let me reread what I heard you say. The Trump administration attempted to notify congressional leaders, right?
Yes, sir.
What day?
Before the strikes, before the attack.
Can I get a date?
I don't remember the date.
Okay,
that the
so
attack
no.
was on. What was the
Okay,
date
how did they?
Saturday?
What means of communications did they use to try to notify? Because I'm trying to wrap my mind around how does somebody who has the biggest social media platform that I've ever seen a president
Do you think
have.
that's where you should have put it, Zeus? Do you think
No.
you should have put it
No,
on
but
True
I've
Social?
researched this. I've looked specifically for if they've notified Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay.
I can't find it anywhere.
Okay, so again, DJ, I've never heard this before, and so either you're telling the truth and
Never
we
heard
don't.
this before.
No, either you're telling the truth or we are not informed. So I've asked you what day, you don't have a date. Then I've asked you what means of communication. That could be social media posts. That could mean emails. That could
How about a phone
mean
call, Zeus? How about a phone call? Maybe it was a phone call.
maybe a phone call. Are you 100%
Okay,
confident? And
this right
DJ,
here.
there's no
Phone call-
reason for you to get upset. Honestly,
I'm not upset at all.
Well, you
No,
seem.
they changed their story. They said they couldn't get a hold of him. And then all of a sudden they did. Trust me, I've looked into this for 2
I
days.
never said that they
'Cause I
did.
want
I
to know.
said they
I'm
attempted.
telling you what you and your crew have all been saying. I've heard it from the other fools too. He attempted and that he didn't answer. You don't just do an attempt. You need to get a hold of him.
And I'd hate to make it
Right.
just this one point, DJ. I'd hate to make it this one point, DJ. But this is where I think genuinely we have a credibility issue kind of happening. So before we move on, I want to make sure you're 100% certain that you know that you said he attempted, but we don't know what medium of communication that attempt was. You said maybe a phone call, but I don't believe you would put 100% of your money on that, right?
Your
Hey,
point
Zeus,
is
I want
going to
to
be.
give DJ. Hey, DJ, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. I want to give you the benefit, okay? Something that's not afforded to black people. So, DJ, you said they attempted. What was the imminent threat? What was the imminent threat to the United States of America? What was it? Unless there's an imminent threat, I'm gonna say this and go back on mute. Unless there is an imminent threat, there's no reason anything should have moved forward until the Democrats, the Gang of Eight, until all the appropriate parties were informed. That's the end of discussion right there.
No, that's the end of your discussion.
Fair enough.
That's your opinion.
Well,
Nutty.
okay.
I mean, you're not stating any type of policy or anything else. That's
I can
your.
state all those policies, and what Nutty said is exactly right.
Well, let me hit off
Based on what, Val?
Edge's comment. DJ, can you pull up Jerry Nadler, please? That he said he was notified, because I can't find that either.
No. I said Nadler. I meant Schumer. I'm sorry.
Chuck Schumer. Okay, because I'm going to erase. I'm going to erase Jerry
I did say
Nadler.
Nadler. I absolutely said Nadler.
Well,
I meant
thank you for acknowledging your mistake. All right. So Chuck
Absolutely.
Schumer, you're saying
Schumer's
Chuck
the minority
Schumer,
leader, right?
Chuck Schumer was notified.
The minority leader of the Senate.
Okay, thanks.
Stated he was not notified.
That's right.
I mean, and DJ, I'm going to play like your criminal defense lawyer to a certain degree.
Hold on. A White House called CNN fake news for reporting claims Democratic leader wasn't briefed on Iran.
Say that again, attacking. I didn't catch the first part.
Says White House calls CNN fake news for reporting claims Democrat leadership wasn't briefed on Iran strike. So is that the recall you're talking about, DJ?
The recall.
Because this is Fox. This is Fox News. I'm not seeing a recall from CNN.
Okay.
So I got something. It
I'll say
says
this
Senate.
very, very quickly, so I'm not taking up a whole lot of time.
Well, I'm going to read what I got. It says Senate minority leader Chuck Schumer was given heads up about the strike on Iran nuclear facilities before the public announcement. However, according to Schumer, the information he received in this call was brief and lacked specific details about the imminent military action. He recalled the administration officials stating that they were taking imminent action but could not reveal the country. So I think that's where we're at. Fair enough.
Okay. So again, we're having this discussion with 5 or 6 very intelligent folks, okay, about something that He doesn't have to tell them before. He absolutely
He
has
did.
the right to do it.
Actually,
He just has
he
to
did.
notify them within 48 hours.
Even by the Wars Power Act, he had to notify Congress, and specifically the Gang of Eight. Okay, and then it's up to them to make.
Tell me what
then
you're
it's up
referring to,
them
Val. I'm
make a
sorry.
decision whether they want to move this forward in Congress. At that point, the Gang of Eight can determine if this needs to move forward in Congress. He did have to inform them, and the reason he had to inform them, sir, is because there was no attack to the U.S. There was no imminent danger to the U.S. That has to be proven. Okay, and even if you try to use Israel as the reason, Israel attacked first. Okay, so there was no, you can't go after a country because they responded to an attack on their own soil. They're still a sovereign nation. Okay, these are the things you need to understand. And the only evidence of there is no evidence. The only person saying that they are weeks away from a boom boom is the leader of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay? No other intelligence agency has that kind of information, including our own.
I was going to ask, how come the National Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, how come she was booted right out of this conversation? A national...
Right. That's a good question, Ange, because
Why?
she's the one that put out the report in March that said,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? They do not have this capability and are not close and have not really worked on this capability since 2003. That was her report. Okay, and that is from the U.S. intelligence agency.
That's what he hired her to do. That's
Right.
what she's supposed to do on our cabinet. And he booted her right out of the conversation. Didn't like what she had to say.
Val?
Yes.
Didn't Bibi Netanyahu, Val, convince Trump to pull out of the JCPOA because he said that they were building nukes when the countries that
That is what started that. That's what started that, where he said he wanted to put sanctions on Iran, and then he couldn't put sanctions on Iran because of the JCPOA. Okay, and so he decided that he was going to pull us out of the JCPOA so he could put sanctions on them. Either way you look at that, this is self-asserted destruction by this own person, by him. He made a mistake by pulling us out of it, of something that was working. It had over 3,000 inspections of their facilities that they were doing. They were happy with because they were a country that was actually moving forward again. They were, you know what I'm saying? They were making their, you know what I'm saying? They were making their own money again. They weren't under a bunch of sanctions. They were trying to move forward. That made them happy. This was a good program for everybody around.
Yeah.
And they weren't working on anything. They did not make any moves or any provable work towards that mission until after the U.S. pulled out of the JCPOA.
Can I ask a question to you, DJ? I just read the information about how Chuck Schumer claims he was notified. It says Schumer criticized the Trump administration for failing to seek congressional authorization before the strike and postponing classified briefings on the matter. So, my question, DJ, is still, if you believe this is all done on the up and up, why do you think the Trump administration is, not being as transparent as they should be?
In regards to what, Zeus? What are they not being transparent about?
The imminent threat. I mean,
this man was actually supposed to have everything into Congress and talk to Congress and be questioned by Congress on Tuesday. They pulled out of that because of the excuse of, well, the report's just not ready. These reports are done. They know what happened.
Hey, DJ, how many nukes does Israel have?
What difference does that make?
Oh, it makes a
It
lot
makes
of
a huge difference.
It makes a big difference due to the fact
No,
that
no, it doesn't.
they
Explain to
won't.
me how it makes a difference.
No. They won't disclose how many nukes they have, DJ.
Explain to me what difference it makes attacking.
It makes a big difference because they're keeping their nuclear arsenal secret. We don't know how many they have. And the thing is,
Do you see Israel as an imminent threat?
At this point,
yes.
you want an honest answer to that?
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand. You guys are
DJ?
sitting here telling me, please let me finish. I've been listening very patiently to you guys.
Well, when you say please, you do get it makes me feel better.
Please. Thank you. So
That too.
I want to make sure that I understand. You are sitting here trying to equate the imminent threat from Israel with nuclear weapons, in weapons. I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
Yeah,
okay?
well, I don't even like you suggesting the end thing either. So, do what you do. It's
I'm
bad
asking
either
a
way.
question. I want to make sure I understand. I'm seem to be getting the impression that you feel like Israel is as much of a threat as Iran is. Is that correct?
I don't know. Who's the only country that's one of our allies that's fired on our ships?
Say that again, please.
Who's the only country of ours that's one of our allies that's fired on our ships?
I'm guessing you're going to say Israel.
That would be correct.
Okay.
What about the spending that we do as well? I mean, that's a threat, right? Because the greatest threat to our national security is our national debt. That's what you all say, right? And I know they're eating into that quite a bit, right?
I also want you to think about this, DJ. The United States funds Israel. Bibi Netanyahu funded Hamas. That came out several months ago. So, in all essence, we've funded Hamas too. So now with the secretive Israel having explosives, okay, that can do damage, why won't they disclose? And Bibi Netanyahu has been pushing this for how many years, Val?
30.
Since WMD.
30.
DJ, we got you kind of dead to rights.
Before you send him to the lake, I do find it very.
You don't have me dead to right on anything. First of all, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nutty. I'm sorry.
Well, I find it very interesting that attacking Iran is absolutely in Project 2025. Did you know that, DJ?
No.
So do you think it's now just coincidence that the United States of America has attacked a sovereign nation who was absolutely not attacking us? Nor did they attack any of our interests, because that's a loop around for the United States to attack other people too. Well, they attacked our interests. So do you know why they attacked Iran, DJ?
Nutty, has Iran ever attacked any U.S. interests?
Can you please just answer my question? Do you know why they attacked Iran?
Because we have no intention of allowing Iran.
That is not it, sir. Let me tell you why they attacked Iran. They attacked Iran for its minerals. Because China, once Donald Trump stepped into the White House, they cut us off. Our supply is low on minerals to make weapons.
It's a very specific mineral.
Yes.
That we get from Iran?
It's called antium.
Iran has discovered.
Hold on, Nutty.
No, go ahead.
I know you're real smart and everything, but I'm sick of you pronouncing Iran. Just say Iran. We know who you're talking about. You ain't got to be doing all that.
For instance, if I was calling you Takasha, you would be upset. So I'm going to pronounce their name. I'm going to pronounce their name the way it's pronounced. It's Iran. No, it's Iran.
All right, you're both going in the corner.
Takesha, I've been telling you that Antifa demon that he got. It does.
So sick of him too.
You know what?
I'm a Iran, and he got to come in with the Iran. We ain't got time for that.
It's Iran. So, DJ, before I was rudely interrupted, I need you to go. Don't believe me? Fact check me. Research Project 2025. And you cannot come back and say, "Oh, that was just a coincidence." Come on, DJ. You're smarter than this. Or are you?
Are we done?
Oh, I'm never done with you, but I just thought I'd give you an opportunity.
And I understand. And I, you know what? I appreciate you being respectful.
Do you think
I'm
DJ?
doing my very best to do the same.
DJ, do you
And
think that?
obviously we're not-
Can
we're
you
not
hear
gonna
me?
agree on this. I'm sorry, Zeus. What'd you say?
Oh, maybe there's a delay on my end. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. Maybe there's a delay. I said, do you think that the information we've covered so far has been true to any degree?
No, sir, I don't. No, sir, I don't.
But we went through everything you were saying and
No,
got to the
no,
bottom of it.
You absolutely came up with arguments, but the president of the United States has the right to do what he did. Okay, the War Powers Act requires that that does require that he talks to Congress or informs this. It's within 48 hours. Okay.
Going back to Tulsi.
Heard that.
I'm sorry. National Director of Intelligence was not part of this. Why? I need to know why. Why?
I'm sorry, Ames, what was the question?
Oh my gosh. Tulsi Gabbard is the National Director of Intelligence. This would be very important that she would be part of this conversation that Hakeem Jeffries and everyone else was left out of. Why was she left out? Why was she said no? You want to know why? Because she said there was no imminent threat. That's why.
Tulsi Gabbard came out before,
Play a yes.
right before, in March. In March, she said that she didn't feel like they were a threat.
No, she didn't say she feels.
Right.
You hear this?
Sorry.
Oh no.
Okay, Val. I'm agreeing with you.
She
But
actually
I'm
came
quite-
with a report from our national intelligence agencies.
What do we? Hey, Val, what level was their uranium enriched to?
Sir, we only know of one
Can
incident.
you answer the question?
Yeah, it was somewhere between 60 and 90%.
Why would they need that?
Now,
enriched
hold
that
on,
high?
sir. Now, I want to make sure that you understand that claim.
Okay,
of
'cause I do wanna
60 and
understand.
90%,
Please-
where that
please
came
enlighten me.
from. Where did that claim of 60 and 90% come from?
Benji.
It came from the inspectors or whoever's in charge of that. I don't know.
There wasn't any inspector involved. Where did that claim of 60 and 90% come from?
Benji.
Tell me, Val.
That would be Bibi Netanyahu.
Bingo.
So
I
you're
tried to
saying
help
that
you,
Bibi
DJ. I
Netanyahu
said
is the-
Benji.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to interject. DJ just did a pivot and you guys went for it again. What does the percentage mean at this point when Tulsi Gabbard says they are not building the thing in itself? The percentage of that doesn't matter. The fact is, she said they are not building it. It doesn't matter the gosh darn percentage. It matters that they weren't building it. And by the way, I want you to answer a question. When you say Trump has to do something within 48 hours, would you please explain that to me? DJ?
So the lies that keep getting exposed,
hold on.
DJ.
Please explain the 48-hour bit.
Isn't that what it says in the War Powers
I
Act?
want you to explain that thoroughly.
Yeah,
so
but
I
what's the
understand
whole
it so I
thing
can
say?
answer your
He's
question. Hold on,
attacking
Val, please.
Gentlemen!
I want you to explain it to me specifically.
That he has to notify Congress within 48 hours? How is that now self-explanatory?
Of the decision to do it or after he does it?
Within 48 hours of whatever action he has taken, and he has to remove whatever troops within 60 days.
Okay, but hold on. Are you saying that he has to inform them after he drops the explosives or before?
Within 48 hours of the attack. I'm not sure how I could be any more clear on that.
Hold on. Why would he have to inform them within 48 hours if he already did it? See, the thing is, the 48 hours, he has to inform them within 48 hours of his decision to do so. Not after the fact that he did it,
He doesn't
Because we
have to
already
let
know
them
he
know
did it
48
because our
hours
armed
before.
services have dropped them.
Do you know why there is the War Powers Act attacking?
Excuse me, I pulled it up. He has to notify them within 48 hours. It's the decision. It's not after the freaking fact. Because
And
You're reading
DJ,
that wrong.
the notification should include the circumstances necessitating the use of force, the legal authority for the action, and the estimated scope and duration of the engagement. Since we want to
Okay.
do it by the book.
Sorry, Val. Sorry, Val. I didn't want him to pivot. I apologize.
I wasn't making him pivot. I was actually agreeing with what you were trying to do. But what he needs to understand is what attacking is saying is exactly right. It's not before. It's not after. Okay.
It's not. He does not have to give Congress 48 hours notice before he does.
Yes, he
anything.
does, sir.
That
This is the
not
reason why. Because
true.
by the Wars Power Act, which was written off of what George Washington's part of the Constitution actually was, because George Washington made this statement, sir, and I'm going to remind you of this statement from George Washington. No one man should have this control. It was given to Congress so a group of people could make that decision.
Amen.
To declare war. You're absolutely right.
DJ, let me read it to you. It says the president must inform Congress within 48 hours of introducing troops into situations where hostilities are occurring or are imminent. So within the 48
Tell me where
hours.
it says before.
The word
Does it say-
within.
does it say the
word
word before?
within?
Within.
Before it said within before
It says
introducing.
within 48 hours.
Within 48 hours of introducing. So let's do the math. You introduced them at this point, right?
Uh-huh.
You got 48 hours to do it.
Congress knew 48 hours, within 48 hours, Zeus.
Why is Hakeem Jeffries saying otherwise?
Well, and
Hakeem Jeffries absolutely knew within 48 hours. We all knew within
No,
48
y'all
hours.
keep trying to go after the fact. No.
It's
and,
not
and DJ, where's the rest of it?
Show me where it says it has to be 48 hours before any action is taken.
He just read it to you.
English, I know English
No, man,
is
he
tough.
did not. He did not.
Goodness gracious.
He said within 48 hours.
Did you listen to the rest of it, DJ?
And so
I
Because
didn't understand
apparently
a word
you did
said.
not.
Please, you don't need to scream.
No, because I'm sick of you.
You didn't got her upset, DJ.
I've never
please.
been so sick of you in all my life. I usually
this
come
wouldn't
up
be
here.
the first time.
No, sir, no, sir. I usually have all the compassion for you in the world. But DJ, today you have proven
You
to
have
me.
me confused with somebody else, Takesha.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I usually take up for you, DJ. I laugh and I giggle with you, DJ. But these people, Zeus just sat here and read the entire statement on this, and you still sitting up here acting like you don't understand. Zeus,
No, ma'am, I understand fully.
Zeus,
I understand
you know what
fully.
the problem is, Zeus?
What's that, Takesha?
These people have, the president has all the power and doesn't have to introduce anything to anybody. Syndrome. It's
Takesha,
a syndrome, Zeus. They don't
Takesha.
think that the president has to answer to
quiet.
anybody because he's the president.
So-
Because in these people's minds, Zeus,
Yeah.
they have made Trump a king.
A king. That's right.
And that's what it is, DJ. And
That's the problem.
Zeus, if you told me that it says 48 hours before any action, then I would agree with you.
DJ,
Zeus,
okay.
read it
Say
again,
that,
DJ,
Read
even
it
if you,
again, Zeus.
but okay, I'm gonna read it. But here's the thing, DJ. Either way it goes, he's out of line because when I asked you, where are the circumstances that he should have used to justify this? Right, the legal authority of the action and the estimated scope and the duration of the engagement. That all should have been a part of the notification, and you can't provide us with that because it doesn't exist. So even if your issue is whether it's before or after, he's still in violation. So it's a done deal in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure it is in your opinion, Zeus, but your opinion doesn't make any sense.
Oh, based
You're
on the
saying
facts
whether
then.
he
How
did it
about that?
Before or after, it doesn't matter.
Has he
Is
done
that
it?
What you're saying?
Has he provided the notification that included all of those additional components? Because if so, then I'm going to drop this and move on.
Can I use a couple past issues, sir? What happened when we went into Iraq?
Oh, we got the big yeah.
All right,
What
say that
happened?
again, Val.
What happened when George W. went into Iraq?
You mean went in looking for weapons of mass or WMDs that didn't exist?
But what did he do before he went in?
He got authority from the UN. He got Congress knew about it. Everybody knew about it.
Right, because Congress was actually met, and they met on it, and they talked, and he
Was,
actually
was
talked
that
to
a
the
was
Gang
that a
of Eight.
boots on the ground
He
attack?
actually,
Val?
he actually talked to the Gang of Eight. It didn't start off as boots on the ground, did it?
No, it did not at first. But it absolutely
Okay, and that whole thing was known by the Congress, even down to the plans. Okay, for the Gang of Eight knew what was going to happen. Okay, these are the things that are different.
Now, I know that.
Now, what happened? What happened when
all
we
knew what was gonna
reintroduced?
Why are you fighting it, DJ?
Yeah,
He
because
wasn't
it's
done.
actually true.
sir,
What
I'm-
happened
no.
when we? What happened when we
The
went
truth is-
into? What happened when we went into Afghanistan?
When we went into Afghanistan after 9/11.
No, we went into Afghanistan actually after Iraq.
I'm waiting for your point, Val. I'm waiting for your point.
The Gang of Eight
This is
was
supposed to be
informed.
some kind of
The
extreme
plans
gotcha.
were put
but-
forth. The plans were put forth. We did it the same way. We started with airstrikes. The Gang of Eight knew this was okayed by Congress because of an attack.
Okay. So
Okay. Now,
I've got a very few minutes left, but I want to ask a very specific question to you, Val. Okay.
Why are you going to dodge his question, though? He was in the middle of making, I think, a very valid point before you go and do that thing you do.
No, he's going. No, he's not making a valid point because
Actually, I
what
am.
we're talking
He is.
about
If you
here
could- if you
is
could
the Donald-
concentrate-
we're talking about the
no, those two
Iran.
presidents, that president actually followed.
Can you, DJ, just
Are you saying every other president followed it, Val? Is that what
He
you're saying?
actually followed it. Yes.
That's
Every
the point,
other
DJ.
president followed it.
DJ, that's the simple point. Why do you when the bell's about to ring, you do this thing? We see it and we're trying to tell you, just stop it. It's a waste of your time.
No. It's not a waste of my time because you're acting like you know that Donald Trump had the right to do what he did.
Here, let me read this for you and shut the fuck
But
up.
it doesn't matter what Donald
Attacking.
Trump does.
I'm sorry.
You're going to disagree.
War
with it.
powers,
And that's
war
okay.
powers
But don't try to act like
resolution
you have
does
the
require
moral superiority
notification
of
within
doing
48
something
hours of
when he
incident.
didn't have
I think we've all reached our boiling point at this moment, and now we just got to
No.
get straight to
The
judgment.
president
And
must
one more
also
thing for
consult the
Val.
Congress within every possibility instance before deploying troops.
You're wrong.
There you go. So we all agree.
And I know you don't like being wrong.
And
it hurts, but
introducing
you're wrong.
troops can also mean the airstrike.
Okay,
And,
so
and oh, by the way,
How are you
Val,
fighting
the
against
International
the
Atomic
Constitution?
Energy Agency
No. They're
says
reading
that
it
Iran was at
verbatim.
60% enriched.
Verbatim.
well,
He can't.
go
he
ahead,
can't help
Ange,
himself.
and then we'll do the audience. Make a
Val,
fire.
it's not verbatim, Zeus, verbatim.
Yeah.
They are telling you, and you guys will fight to the you know what for this guy. He doesn't care about you. You're not going to do
It
dinner.
doesn't
with
matter
him.
that it's
W,
Donald
Tara.
Trump, Ange. It doesn't matter that it's Donald Trump.
Let's-
I get so
DJ.
sick of the left standing up here and acting like they've got some kind of loophole.
Oh,
No, sir. No, sir. The only person
I was on.
trying to
I
find
was
he's
on
getting, he's losing grip. He's losing
but I
grip.
didn't agree with
He's snapping. Yes.
Let me say this
Only-
right quick, and I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
be done with this.
'Cause I gotta get to
said up
judgment.
Here, DJ sat up here and said that Hakeem do we believe Hakeem Jeffries when he said he wasn't notified? Now DJ want to believe everything Donald Trump said. He said because the president got up there and said, okay, you want to believe everything Donald Trump said about Hakeem Jeffries is lying. You're one-sided. That's my problem with you. You're one-sided.
He fights hard for his team. Val, you were about to say something too, because I'm already
Yeah.
looking at the clock, and we got to get to judgment, which is what we all came here for, right?
I wanted to say something real quick. Listen, because this is interesting. What I was bringing up was important because these presidents actually followed the procedure, and what Attacking just read is correct. The Air Force is not a loophole, okay, for troops. That is a troop that is flying that plane, sir. Sorry, and so it's not a loophole.
Yeah.
These are the things these people need to understand. The only person trying to find loopholes, sir, is Donald Trump.
That's the only person trying to find loopholes. He's the only person trying to play in the gray area here. It is not Democrats. The words in the War Powers Act, which I told you I really don't agree with, it should go back to the constitutional way that it is, but that George Washington wanted to put forth. If you want to strike, you got to go through Congress, period. That's how it should be. I do not agree with the Wars Power Act, and I said that, and I've told you that before. The thing is this, DJ, and I'm going to answer the question you asked me. You said the 98% thing, and you know what I'm talking about, but I want to answer that question for you, sir. Trying to gain compliance by force is always going to create animosity.
Yeah.
Always.
It will. It will. And so thank you, Val. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for enduring another torturous conversation. This is torture. But we got to get to judgment, DJ. DJ, it's not about you and me. It's about the audience. And they've endured. Because I know everyone in here doesn't agree with me. So DJ, you legitimately have a chance for people to say that they actually support you. Is there anyone out there that supports? Is there anybody out there that believes DJ did an outstanding job proving that his dear leader is following the law and obeying the Constitution? Does anyone believe DJ did that? Because if so, put a yes. If you get 100 yeses, DJ, I'll spare you the lake of fire.
Absolutely have the right to do it.
If you get 100 yeses, DJ, I'll spare you the lake of fire. DJ, I was talking, and if I get 300 no's, if I get 300 no's, then it is what it is, and it's not me, it's you, because that's how this works. If the majority of the people, DJ, conclude that you're off your rocker, bro, that's it. That's it. There's nothing else left to debate, and we all can go on about our day. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking for some yeses. Can we get 300 no's, perhaps, or more? I want to see if we can get 300 no's. because this is what it takes to send the message. DJ, are you watching this, DJ?
I am, Zeus.
Okay.
And I'm probably not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Okay, I understand.
All of these people.
All right, the people have spoken, DJ. Ladies and gentlemen, it's because of you. Shows like this are actually going to change things, like you see in the state of New York right now in the mayor's race. DJ, we're tired of it, bro. You continue to lie for your dear. You continue to lie for your dear leader, DJ, and unfortunately, nobody believes you. So do us all a huge favor, DJ, and go back to hell.
Silence, you matter, Damon.
W Zeus, W to the panelists. What an amazing team.
I cannot believe that this man doesn't believe in the Constitution and sides with Trump, doesn't believe in the rule of law and sides with Trump, doesn't believe in the judges but sides with Trump. What we read, he doesn't believe what we're reading out of the War Powers Act, but he believes Trump. These people are sick. I mean, you read the words. Well, I don't believe it. Troops. To initiate troops. Troops doesn't mean specific ground troops. It could be sea. It can be air. They're troops. Correct, Val? You said that, right?
That is correct. I mean,
they are troops. There is. God damn, what is wrong with you people? I'm sorry, I apologize.
That's why most presidents, when they have gotten around this, when they've gotten around the Wars Power Act, have used drones.
Yeah.
Well, you know, all I gotta say is, who is the echo? That's you,
So,
Nutty.
Zeus, can I say this before I log out of here?
Yes, sir.
It's very exhausting. It's exhausting when, this is the attack on our education system. Because for people who don't know, who didn't study anything except for their feelings, to argue with someone who matriculated with degrees, and not saying that people with degrees know everything, because that's just not the case. But people with the degrees know more than you, DJ, on certain things that they've studied. You know, it gets exhausting when your education is called into question. I don't know where to go from there. That's why I just shut up and I just stopped arguing, because even though attacking was reading right from the act itself, he still interpreted it a different way, to a way that he wanted it to suit his narrative. MAGA just needs to go. Thank you for letting me up.
All right, W Nutty, ladies and gentlemen. That's and to me, the thing that whenever I hear them say stuff like that, I just know they would never say this if Joe Biden did it. They would never say it. Am I right, Takesha?
Yep, it's the hypocrisy.
If Joe Biden's lose, if Joe Biden had did that and then refused to go in front of Congress, baby, they would be calling for Joe Biden's impeachment. That's why I said, Zeus, at the end of the day, they think that nobody should be able to tell Donald J. Trump what to do, because they have made Donald J. Trump a king.
Sick.
Which Takesha's talking?
Now you do that attacking. It's confusing.
I just told you to stop doing that.
Called it out.
They know how to have fun too. We know how to have fun. We're pretty friendly up here.
I'm going to drop. I just want to say, if heaven forbid because of Netanyahu, gets us into whatever it may be, I would like Aaron to be my son's shipmate. That's what I would like. I don't want to hear about no bone spurs. I don't want to hear about any of that. And yes, I can say Barron. People gave me heck last night. He's 18 years old. People went after Obama's daughters way before they were 18 years old. So I don't want to hear it.
There you go. W Ange. W Tara. All right, thank you. Yeah, we're rounding a significant corner, and it's a pivotal moment. So we got attacking and Val, last words before we move it along.
We can't ever stop.
Unfortunately,
we cannot stop, and because they're not going to stop their lies, and whether or not they like what we say, at least you and I and people on our side are speaking the truth with documentation, evidence, proof, everything that they don't use, we do use. And by the way, I am as woke as heck, because I'm seeing and hearing everything. You guys are the sleepy ones. You guys are the ones aren't seeing and hearing what's being said and what's being done. So yeah, you're gosh darn straight. I am woke as heck.
W attacking. That's what I like to hear. All right, Brother Val, we did it again. You debunked them in real time. We did another deep dive in a huge conspiracy that's out there. Any last words?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Wars Power Act, it's actually really clear if you read it, what I'm saying, what it's going to do. And like I mentioned a second ago, there's a reason presidents have been using drones, because when the War Power Act was written in 1974, we didn't have drones like we have today. Okay? So they're not covered. There's no troop in a drone.
Yeah.
Okay? There's no one in a drone. So that is how they subvert the War Powers Act. And these are the things. And if he'd have sent drones over there, I wouldn't have much argument, because drones aren't covered. Okay? These are the things that people need to start understanding, is that, one, the War Powers Act needs to be addressed. I believe it needs to be reverted back to what George Washington wanted in place. Okay? To where Congress, no one man in this country should have the power to wage war on another sovereign nation without approval of Congress. It imbalances the three co-equal branches of government. That is why I've never liked the Wars Powers Act. I know why it was put in place.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers Vietnam and Korea and what happened there.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the things that needs to be, these are the things that need to be addressed in this country. And when you've got a man in office that's playing in the gray areas and trying to subvert, and that's what upset me the most about what DJ had to say, is because he's going, oh, y'all just want to try to skew it or reword it. No, sir, we don't want to reword it. We want the law followed. The reason Congress has to be notified before is very simple, sir, and it makes actually perfect common sense. Even with the Wars Power Act, they need to be informed in case they have a problem with the legality of it. If there's not a legal problem with what he wants to do or his intentions, he doesn't have to set a time.
Bingo.
He can say, I'm going to do this in 48 hours. He can call in the Gang of Eight. And if the Gang of Eight goes, okay, we're not going to push this forward through Congress, we let you go, that then becomes the Gang of Eight's fault, right?
Yes.
But that never happened. And sir, I want to remind you of something, DJ. Congress was in session last Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
It would not have been any issue to get the Gang of Eight together. None.
Tell him, Val. He knows. Well, listen, Val. Thank you, champ. All right, I appreciate you. Another outstanding job, Val. No lies detected. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that was what you call a total annihilation. Sometimes you gotta go explore the lies that these folks are repeating, because you gotta nip it in the bud so that you can be equipped going forward. So one thing we've learned today, DJ Rick, one thing we've learned, DJ, is the notification. If he did give Congress the notification, it lacked all of the components actual notification should have had. We don't know the scope. We don't know what power or authority he was using. We don't even know what the threat was. So as far as I'm concerned, we still really haven't been notified. And so when you have a president that was willing to basically violate the Constitution like the way that he is, it's no wonder that the American people, folks like me and all the panelists that came up and all of you out there in the audience, it's no wonder that we're upset right now, right? And this is what MAGA seems to be struggling with. We're not just upset because, your dear leader likes to say, oh, you have TDS. No. We know we're dealing with somebody who has no regard for the rule of law. We know we're dealing with somebody who's a proud criminal. How do we know he's a proud criminal? He puts his mugshot everywhere, right? So when you have that kind of situation, it's easy for you to not, you can try to overlook and think we're just going after him because he's Trump. No, we have somebody that we know is violating the rule of law. And the other side of this is we know in our hearts, and a lot of us know because of experience dealing with you, that if President Biden would have done any of this stuff, you all would have flipped it. You would have flipped out just like he flipped out when he called you garbage, right? You W. Biden. I like it when President Biden referred to all of you as garbage, and then you all got so upset that you turned around and dressed up in trash bags. I mean, it just shows to me how fragile all of you are. W. Zeus. Yes, Trump and his cabinet needs to be impeached. Now, before I move on, do we have any more I want to call them victims, but you're not victims, all right? Any more Trump supporters out there that believe that perhaps we're on the wrong side of history and that you are correct? Please place a 1 in the chat, and I'll bring you right on up here. Let me see. Do we have any Trump supporters out there? No. Case closed for you. I'll give them a couple of seconds, all right? Because it doesn't take long to debunk these people, all right? It really doesn't. All right, let's see. All right. Alrighty then. I guess the people have spoken. All right. We'll bring up Q Dog. Welcome. Good morning, Q Dog. How are you doing, bro?
Hey, good morning to you, bro.
Good morning.
So, well, I'll tell you. And I posted it on my page, so you don't have to go too far to see what it is. There was a project that recently took place where they wanted to see how MAGA would react to what Trump said, whatnot. And it was actually AI generated, his voice and speaking about this.
Wow.
And in the message, he was saying that we need to put cameras in bathrooms and cameras in dressing rooms, and where they do the pageants. We need to see those cameras in there because I may not always be able to get to them, but I want to be able to grab it. This is stuff that being generated AI saying, and these sick individuals, they were all MAGA in a room, men and women.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably something old. They said the woman said that. Then the man said, "Oh well, we always all been there at one point in time. When we said things amongst each other as guys in the locker room or whatnot. And they're talking about.
So if Trump
children,
says it,
they talk about teenagers underage. This is what was being said in the AI generated just to see how they would react. And these sick individuals were responding like, "Oh, it's normal. Oh, we've said that before in joking and amongst each other." And so you have got to be out of your freaking mind. I'm going to tell you this, MAGA. I got a 13-year-old daughter. You ever in your life try to look or say something about my daughter, it's going to be a problem.
Wow.
This is sick. Talking about putting cameras in girls' bathrooms and whatnot. And they're approving of this.
Isn't this the same?
This is ridiculous. I don't want to hear it anymore. This is I just stop the recording.
But Q Dog, you brought up a valid point. Aren't these the same folks that get mad about the transgenders playing sports, right? They want to keep them out of it. But they have no problem if their dear leader sends grown men into these baths. I mean, it's their hypocrisy. It's bizarre, MAGA, and they don't think we see it for what it is. Sick.
So for people who have children, this is the mindset of these people, and it puts you in a state of thought that are these people really 3PDOs? Are they really thinking like Epstein and some of the people that get locked up and get assaulted by prisoners? Because you go to prison with that type of record they know before you even step foot through them bars. And your days are numbered with them. That's one thing I will agree with prisoners. They have zero tolerance for anybody that tries to go after children.
Sick.
Zero tolerance. And for you to say that on a video, that that's probably old information, old news, and this wasn't even real. They just wanted to get their response on how they would respond to Trump.
Yeah.
Y'all some sick people. And whatever, we keep saying that y'all in a cult and y'all don't believe it. Y'all.
They're in a cult, and God's judgment is truly on these folks. That's why I say it's gonna be a hot summer for a lot of these folks, ain't it? It's gonna be a real hot summer. They're gonna peacefully enter the afterlife. They're gonna have heat strokes. And I'd hate to see that, but when the good Lord meets them, and how did you end up here? Oh, I was trusting in Trump. That's their thing that they say, I trust in Trump. You ever heard them say that, Q Dog?
Oh yeah.
Trust in Trump.
They talk about they Christians or whatnot, but my God is a jealous God. You don't put no man or being before him.
Viper resipid.
So it's going to come down the pipe.
Yep.
It may not come today. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come next year. But trust me, MAGA, it's going to come. We see it happening in real time with Mr. Snuggles. Behind that closed door, behind those TikTok walls, you don't know what that man is going through. But we already got word of confirmation what he's going through. And it's going to get worse. It's going to trickle down to you. You know what they say, Zoo? They say you create a seed and it becomes manifested in maybe not your lifetime, but maybe your future offspring.
Yeah, the curse. It's a curse.
It's coming. It's coming.
There's some curses. It's some curses out here. And again, I try not to, wish anything like that on anyone, because I think what goes around comes around. But as an observer, I can't help but think to myself, like, what does God think about the fact that all these people are out here calling themselves believers, children of God, but openly out here just worshiping and doing some of the most evil and vile things? I mean, there has to be some sort of form of punishment for this. It makes absolutely no sense.
It's sickening, brother.
Yeah.
It's sickening. And to be a father and to actually hear that in real time, it is. That is troublesome.
Yeah, lying is a sin, alter ego, and you should know about that alter ego, because you're trying to be lukewarm, and you should go read about what being lukewarm is, alter ego, and that's just some game I just gave you for free.
This is the reason why, Zeus. Like I say, my daughter's 6'3", 160 pounds and whatnot, but she's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even let her. It's sad. I won't even let her go outside during the daytime if I'm not out there with her. That's how sad this world is at this point in time. And some of the sick-minded individuals that take that lightly to do anything harmful to a child.
Yeah,
it's sickening. And y'all need some serious mental help. Seriously. Amen. I'm not even entertaining any of the stuff that these MAGAs say in the comments anymore, because I already know where your mindset is. If you don't say anything else but that is wrong, that's disturbing, and that's sickening, I have no words for you. I already know how to handle you from a distance.
Bingo. There you go. Well, listen, brother, I got to get up out of here. But ladies and gentlemen, WQ Dog. Again, no lies detected. All right.
Salute to you, brother.
All right, salute to you. All right. Well, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we've had an incredible show, but Big Zeus has to get up out of here. I want to give all of you a huge round of applause, because without you, this show wouldn't be as entertaining and engaging and educational. I also want to say a special thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Another one for the history books. But I also got to give one last round of booze and shame. And this goes out to all of the Zeus haters out there. And they know exactly who they are. Yeah, they get out here on TikTok and they try to play both sides, hopscotch. All right, this side and I'm on this side. Where do you stand? I stand right here, and they feet all out of bounds. You ever see people doing stuff like that? Just in total embarrassment, making themselves look like fools, but then want to try to dress up and act like, oh, I'm holier than thou. No, you're not. You are nothing but a prime candidate for hell. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these Zeus haters one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We are out of here. What a show! Let's go take care of the trash. WDF! WZena! Thank you! Tamira! Thank you for that. You did an outstanding job, ladies and gentlemen. Hey! Let's go! You want drill, baby, drill today? Okay, fine. We haven't done drill. You like the drill, baby, drill? All right, fine. We'll do drill, baby, drill. All right, you all deserve it. Marissa, thank you. Craig, I see you. Let's go, Cindy. Thank you. Let's go. Gotta be able to do that. Oh yes, all lies will be exposed in the kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. Democrats win again, yep. they're setting themselves up for failure. You love fracking. You love fracking. All right, let's do some drill, baby, drill, and then we'll get up out of here.
Kamala Harris's war on Pennsylvania energy, because you know she's going to ban. You know she's going to ban fracking, right? 100%.
She's going to.
Then she was against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, "I like fracking very much." Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical.
1600 Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's on its way.
But we're going to end that, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay
you
down
all are so
our debt.
hilarious.
We're going to lower your taxes.
Here we go.
Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack, frack. Drill, there's a frack, frack, frack. There's a baby, there's a lots of baby energy. You know she's going to bang. You know she's going to bang him. Hey! Up in there, she was against fracking, against all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year to half ago, when she was getting killed in the past, she said, "I like fracking very much." Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical. She can't help it. But we're gonna end that, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna be drilling so deep. We're gonna be for these guys. We're gonna drill. We're gonna take out so much money. We're gonna pay down our debt. We're gonna lower your taxes. Insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack, frack, frack. Drill, baby, drill. Like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill like it's Hannibal Lecter.
Hey, we're gonna drill.
We're gonna drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill.
Let's do it together.
Like it's Hannibal Lecter. Insane asylums.
You know they go crazy when I say
the late great Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, really?
They say, why would you mention Hannibal?
Yeah, why would you mention Hannibal Lecter?
We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane
That
asylums.
part, okay.
You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Drill, 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 baby, drill. We're gonna frack, frack, frack. Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter.
It gets me every time. You know that, right? Lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Drill, drill, hey, hey, you drill, hey. Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. What we gonna do? We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know, how much money do you need to pay off all your debt? Because see, listen, Tiny TikTok Jim Tom, he can't help you with nothing. He can barely put gas in that old truck he drives. What I'm gonna do, baby, is this: we're gonna pay off all your debt. We're gonna lower your taxes because guess what? There's so much liquid gold underneath our feet, and all we gotta do is drill, baby, drill to get to it. And then after that, you know what we're gonna do? A little bit of that fracking, because I know you like that, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Take care and stay safe out there. Don't TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We are